Hello and welcome back, or welcome to MK Studios.
Alright, as promised, here is my design study sketchbook tour. So first we're starting with the cover. The assignment design brief was blackout poetry and then with a symbol or something that you thought was cool. So I went with a brown widow, and then webs all around. And the blackout poetry, it doesn't make any sense, but I think it's cool. Second project was the scribble and fill, which is basically you just make a giant squiggle and then you fill it in with a bunch of different things. As you can see, I didn't finish it technically. I didn't fill in everything, but I think that just adds to it, and I really liked how this one turned out. Okay, the next one is 1-point perspective drawings. So this is just the initial practice that we did with a bunch of cubes, and then I went on to make this thing, which I think is really awesome, and I had a lot of fun doing it. I actually messed up the first time drawing it because stairs make angles, right? And I forgot to do that in my head before drawing it all out, so then I had to do it again. Okay, there's a few of these, but every Wednesday we would have a sketchbook day where we just do stuff in our sketchbook. So this one was a tree elevation practice, which I thought was really fun. So it's just sketching with pens, basically. So for the first page and a half, they're with blue and red pen, because, you know, you do one layer and then you do another one, because I think that's fun. It works good for me. And then the other two is I got a hang of it, so then I could just do it freely. It's really fun. I highly recommend it if you want to get into designing like landscapes and stuff. Next big project was our 2-point perspective, which is like standing on a corner and then looking, as you can see. So my initial sketch, on like the bottom right, was of like a person gonna be there. That didn't happen because the chess pieces took so long to just sketch out and then get done, so I was just done, but I think it turned out really well and I still really like the project. Another sketch practice, and it was people, so I really like doing this one once I got the hang of just the loose shapes. This one I would also recommend for like figures and stuff. So like the last couple pages are just me doing whatever the heck because I thought it was really fun. And I really enjoyed it just because they're so loose and you can make them however dynamic or plain as you want them to be. Up next is the 5-point perspective one, which is basically a fisheye lens, so you can imagine that. And this one I really enjoyed because first off, we have the Prismacolor pencil crayons because, you know, we got that school art money, I guess, because art school, and we used tone paper, so everything blended so well. It was so fun. I really enjoyed doing this one. Then another sketchbook practice, which was just shading and values practice, which everyone says that mine is really good, and I blame my years of just shading stuff. Now these next two projects were, initially I was just going to do the first one, which is the skateboard one, but then my teacher was like, hey, do you want to design your grad program cover for like the gala? And I was like, yeah. I did the grad cover first and then I did the skateboard just because I had time. So with the skateboard project, it was dynamic movement, so all the thumbnails, and then I ended up picking the walking guy, which I then changed to a run, and then here's the final, which I think is really good. I didn't seal it in class, I sealed it out like at home, but I still think it turned out great. And then for the program cover, the grad quote is the one about sails and wind and stuff. I'll pull it up here. And this one I also really liked because I was like, yo, everyone's gonna see this. This is crazy. So on the final thing, which is like the digital copy, it says designed by Myra Koich, which I think is pretty awesome. And then a company reached out to my teacher saying that if she wanted to, they could get it animated to be projected at the gala. Another practice was the grid drawing, which I think was pretty fun. It's, as someone who has done tracing and like replicating images for years, like I just look something up that I want to draw and then draw it based on the picture, I did pretty good on this one. I really like how it turned out. Okay, this one's similar to the scribble and fill, but it's like just a bunch of circles and then you fill them in with stuff. I ended up being busy with other stuff and didn't get around to finishing this one, but that's okay. The next project was a typography assignment because, design, you want to design text and then what conveys what mood. So we just made like a thing that has our name on it with stuff in the background, if we so desired. So that was really fun. All my friends said that mine kind of looks like a name tag, so I might scan it and then print it off and make my own little name tag thing sometime, or like to put in a lanyard. Another sketchbook practice was texture. So we had a piece of paper and then it was like, do your best to replicate the textures beside it, because it was like one box with the texture and then one that was empty. But I just did all of mine in my sketchbook. And I did bricks 3 times because I forgot I did bricks the first time and then the second time, or I wanted to do different bricks. But yeah, that was also really fun. I liked that one. The next brief was you are designing a logo for a company that does like clothes that is inspired by street art. So I don't know. The name Dusted Mushroom, it doesn't really mean anything to me at least, but then the final, it turned out really good. I really liked it. It was really fun to do. And then this one, I really hope everyone gets this reference. I showed it to some people that didn't get the reference, which I thought was kind of funny. But it was make a thing based on climate change using geometric shapes. And I was like, I'm going to do Peter Griffin dead because it's funny. And I did it. I'm really glad with that. I'm really happy about how this one turned out. Now, on to 3D design, upgrading from 2D design. So this one was, what you want to do is make something abstract based on a word. So I went with melodic because, I don't know, I decided not to do band in favor of doing design. So I was thinking about it a little bit at the time. So then I went with melodic, so like wavy stuff, and like, as you can see in the final, that thing across is 5, like a staff. Anyone who's in music, you'll know, like reading music and stuff. But I really liked this one. It was really fun. Next one was a melting object study, which is basically you just come up with an object and then make it melt. So I did the moon because I wanted to do a thing with lighting, because it's doing stuff with lighting I would also highly recommend because it's really fun and it helps you work on your shading quite a bit. Another sketchbook thing, I think this was because my teacher was away, so we had 2 subs, or like a sub for 2 days. So this one was fruity architecture, which is basically just design a building based on a fruit. So I went with a dragon fruit. I didn't color it. I might later. I don't know. Now, this one I didn't have to go 3D. It could have been just on a piece of paper, like almost, I'm pretty sure everyone else did just 2D. But this was a color wheel design, which isn't crazy with the colors, because you're just using red, yellow, and blue to mix all the colors except for your neutrals. So you have your main colors, then there's your tints, which are lighter, and then your shades, which are darker, and then your neutrals, which are basically like red and green and mixed together to make, they're all the browns. They're not very exciting, but this one was fun. It caused me a lot of pain and suffering, but it's okay. I like doing it. It was fun. This assignment was basically just draw out your route to school in a fun, creative way. And I don't remember what my school looks like from aerial view, so it's just a weird blob, which is okay, but everything else looks pretty good. Okay, second last project was energy conservation celebration stamps, because I think this has been a thing before, and also you can submit your stamps to Canada Post to have them actually made into stamps, so I think that's pretty cool. This one, I used gouache for the final. I don't really know if I like how it turned out. I didn't want to line it because I felt that would take away from it, but maybe I should have for the last ones. I don't know. You tell me in the comments. And then I believe this is the last sketch assignment, which was basically draw yourself as a spirit animal, and I did a quiz for this and it said I'm a magpie, so I drew a magpie with glasses because I have glasses now. And then our very last project was design a logo for yourself if you were a designer, or for your own company. And I was like, I already have a YouTube channel, so I not exactly redesigned, but sort of redesigned the MK Studios logo. and I think I might go with that. Please let me know down below, because not with these colors exactly, but similar style, like with the beach in the background. It'll still be mostly blue. I wanted different colors, but the paint pens, we have Posca paint pens, they're really awesome. The paint pens didn't have the ones that I wanted, but I don't know, beggars can't be choosers, I guess. So that is my design studies sketchbook. I hope you liked this video. I hope this one is better than the last sketchbook tour I did, just because I did the formatting differently then. I had the recording of all the stuff instead of just pictures of everything, which I know a lot of people on like TikTok and stuff do that, but I think I like this way better. Anyway, let me know in the comments. And I think that's all for today. So thank you for watching. If you liked, leave a like. If you want to see more, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.